From the Elizabethtown Sports Complex, Sports Park, here in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, the Commonwealth plays host to the National Championships. The 12U classification takes center stage here in 2022. It's North Carolina versus California, and we are underway here in the Commonwealth. Back alongside Rick Goff, the Executive Director of Travel Ball Select. Me, I'm merely Chris Mooneyham. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We are excited for what could be the first of two 12U National Championship broadcasts. If ZT National prospects from California able to win this ball game, they will be the titleists this year. Line, right field, base hit, a solid lash off the bat of Trenton Motley, who's headed for second, trying to catch him napping, and he's made it safely.
Some heads-up base running there by Tristan. He sees the ball, kicks away from the right fielder. Heads-up base running there by Tristan as he sees the ball, kicks away from the right fielder, and he alertly takes second base.
Here's Drew Wilson. Ivan Andino, the shortstop, will hit third. SBA MARUCCI National. Their home base out of North Carolina. Number 2 team inside of championship bracketed play, which began on Friday in the 12U classification. Ground ball. Backhanded play at first. And a dandy at that. It'll move Motley over to the third base bag. A good play by Jael Santos to go backhand and retire Wilson 3 unassisted.
Nice fundamental baseball right there. Hits the ball to the right side, moves the runner along to third base, puts him in scoring position. The little things, we talked about this in the last game, the little things that is what matters in these types of games.
Now Andino. SBA MARUCCI National started their day with a win over TG D-backs. Back into the screen. How about that viewpoint for you? Shaking our camera.
That'll come get you.
Actually, SBA MARUCCI National, let me be precise here, started their day with a loss to this very same ZT National Prospects Club. 9-0 the final in that one. Ball game that Rick and I had here on Field 5 this morning. They were then forced into the elimination bracket ball game with TG D-backs. Another incredibly talented team. They won that ball game 4-3. That was just a ball game that finished up, maybe an hour ago or so over on Field 6. And so now here they are in the championship, swing and a miss. And Dino's down on strikes. That is an so important out with one man out. If you're Andino, of course, there, Rick, you're just looking for solid contact. A fly ball would be great, but potentially solid contact to a middle infielder would still bring the run home.
Yeah, this early on, the middle infielders for ZT's playing back, they're willing to give up that run and get the out. But fortunately for them, they didn't have to do that. They got the strikeout. Now we got a runner at third base with 2 outs. Now it's going to take a hit to get him in.
So SBA MARUCCI National needs 2 wins here on Field 5 throughout the next few hours to claim the national championship. A club that was undefeated in pool play at 4-0. Started 2-0 inside of championship bracket play before losing this morning.
Well, if there's a team in this tournament that's built to do that, SBA is surely one of the few teams that could do that. They're not going to go down quietly, and ZT's, they're going to have something to say about that before the day's over.
6-1 overall for the week, as Julian Martinez is putting in some work. Martinez, by the way, facing the left-hander, Angel Gonzalez, on the mound for ZT National Prospects. He's setting deals. A strike. Again, SBA MARUCCI National 4-0 in pool play. Outscored their opponents 41-5 in the 4 ball games. Won their first 2 in bracketed play before falling this morning now sit at 6-1 overall, 52-19. They've outscored their opponents, 52-19, a very healthy score. Martinez 0 for 2 in the matchup with ZT this morning. Got him. That was a gorgeous, gorgeous fastball. That a two-seamer?
Two-seamer that ran right in on top of him here. Tied him up with a fastball.
So Motley starts the ball game with a double, then a ground out and a couple of strikeouts, retire the side in the top half of the first inning. We'll make our way to the bottom half where ZT National Prospects get their first licks. You're watching the 2022 Travel Ball Select National Championships in the 12U division on Facebook.
Yeah, how do you not know which one it is?
Derek Vasquez will climb the hill for ZT National Prospects. Still undefeated on the week at 7-0. And remarkably, as I mentioned in Game 1 for ZT earlier today, you check it, you almost don't know if you believe it. They have not given up a run all week.
That's one of the most impressive stats, especially with the level of talent that we had here this week. I mean, think about it. A walk, an error,
yeah,
an excuse-me home run. I mean, any number of ways.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that, as a matter of fact. I've been holding on to this one so I could surprise you on the air. Takes a funny hop. There you go. There's a prime articulation of it. Oh, and he is going for second. Here comes the throw. Cut off. And Hudson Brown is in. How do you want to score that one, my friend?
That was a hot smash, but I still have to think you got to give him an error on that.
E4. Let's say ZT National Prospects is able to finish this thing off. Go 8-0 on the week. With allowing so few runs and climbing up on nearly 70 runs scored, could this be, considering how talented the 12U classification is, and in some ways, could be deemed getting better just about every year. Sometimes we'll have a little dip, and then it'll pop back up, but could this be one of the all-time great runs? Bunted foul. Angel Gonzalez.
Boy, I tell you,
I'm putting you on the spot.
You would have to consider it for sure. I mean, I don't think anybody in the history of the TBS Nationals has come in here and done what these guys have done. And, you know, the rankings might have a little bit to do with that. He's been number one for over a year and a half. He just dropped here a few weeks ago. So it looks like these boys, he's used that as ammunition for the boys to get them fired up.
Chopper foul. ZT National Prospects, program based out of California. 4-0 in pool play. Outscored their opponents 31-0. 3-0 in bracketed play.
And just so you're aware, Chris, we dropped them a few weeks ago to number 3. We put SBA at number 1. And And Carlos, being the class act that he is, he called me that afternoon and told me I got it right. He told me I got it right. He said, you know what, right now they are, but after Kentucky, we'll see if it still stands that way.
Well, they've answered the bell in tournament time, bracketed play, championship play if you prefer. 36-0 in 3 wins. They've outscored their opponents. 36-0 in 3 wins in the postseason. Postseason, as it were.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can tell you one of the greatest teams of all times that we had come through here was last year's 12-year-old East Cobb Astros.
Yep.
And they didn't come close to doing what this team is doing this week.
And, of course, keep in mind part of that conversation, kick and fire. They'll have to throw him out. Check the runner, and now he is breaking to the third base bag. Here's the throw, and he's safe. Gonzalez down on swinging strikes. How about Brown and his hustle? Reaches on an E4, takes second on a little bit of a misplay there in center field. Now takes third base on a strikeout where the batter has to be thrown out at first. But continuing that conversation, we got one out. I want to try to hammer this out here. You've talked extensively about how incredible this 12U field is this year. So not only are you doing this the way that ZT Prospects, National Prospects is, this domination, the sheer score of 67-0 in 7 wins, but you're doing it against one of the great all-time fields.
Yeah, I mean, it's rare to even do it on a local weekend tournament in the middle of the spring to give up 0 runs. It happens occasionally, but to come to a big-time national event, this is arguably the best 12-year-old tournament in the entire country for 2022. We have 8 of the top 10 teams here. So for them to do it's just incredible. I mean, you can't even put words to it.
12 of the top 25 by my count, plus 3 honorable mention clubs. Who, by the way, the honorable mention clubs happen to be a few of the more well-known programs in the country. So it's possible you're seeing an all-time type run here, an all-time type champion, if ZT National Prospects can finish it off. Luke Esquivel has battled all the way back, or is battling in this at-bat.
But, I mean, here's a prime example. I mean, in the first inning, we had the same situation, right? A runner at third, nobody out. Again, all it takes is put a ball in play, a fly ball, a pass ball, a balk. I mean, the number of ways to score from third base with 1 out are very, very high. And for them to go the entire weekend and even get out of the last inning, but here they are again in the same position. Can they get the job done this time? You got to believe SBA knows that stat as well, and as soon as that first run scores, it's got to give them a little boost of energy.
ZT a 14-0 win in round 1, a 13-0 win in round 2, and then a 9-0 win in the semifinals here this morning, as I mentioned earlier, against this very same SBA MARUCCI National Club.
The number 1 SBA MARUCCI.
That's exactly right. Ground ball at first. That'll score the run. Esquivel does his job. I'm going to call that an infield hit.
Yeah, he might have had a hard time getting him. Even if he makes the play. Again, the pitcher was late getting off the mound, going over. So I don't know if they could have got him on that or not.
Boy, we have agreed the entire way through. This is a little strange. Oh, they got him! A tremendous pickoff move, an even better throw there from Vasquez.
Well, I tell you what, this just goes to show you cannot fall asleep in this age group.
We'll try to get to the replay here in a moment if we have the opportunity, but Esquivel wiped off the base pads. Our crew cannot get every replay and get every shot. Swing and a miss. J.L. Santos.
Caught him sleeping over there, but that's for sure. You know, at this age level, you take a couple of steps off there, you better be aware.
Yeah, it took a great move and a great throw.
I told you in game 1 of today, who's the most dangerous person on the field?
Man with the ball.
Man with the ball.
That's right.
You do not take your eyes off the man with the ball.
These two teams, this age group, so very smart. The baseball acumen out of these kids. High fly, going to be foul, but will it be in play? No, sir. Remember, we're playing on 50 and 70, 50 feet from rubber to plate, 70 feet between the base pads. A little tutorial for all of you out there watching who maybe are watching your grandson or your nephew play. Don't keep up with travel ball. 50 feet from rubber to plate, 70 feet between the base pads. We're slated to play 6 off the corner, maybe a little high as well. Santos, a big first baseman, who hit an absolute bomb in their first game here this morning. A 3-run home run as part of a 6-run third inning where they pulled away from SBA Marουcci National. Get the strikeout, Will Vasquez, to put that inning to a close, but an RBI infield single off the bat of Luke Esquivel will score Hudson Brown, who reached on an E4. He then stretched it into a double on a bit of a misplay out in the outfield. Gets to third on a strikeout. It's 1-0. ZT National Prospects. Middle of the lineup. Oh, caught him. Goodness. Derek Vasquez. Gosh, I think that ball got him right in the rib cage. This could be a big moment, by the way. I don't want to be melodramatic, but Vasquez is, if you're not aware, SBA's hurler. And right now, he looks worse for wear. Oh, boy. This could be a major development. Caught him right in the rib cage. Now they're going to take him off the field for a courtesy runner. I'm imagining, at least for now, and then if they have to replace him, they'll worry about doing that later, but he is the pitcher after all, so they can courtesy run for him.
Correct.
They're saying he's got to go down to the first base bag and touch first.
He's got to go touch it, yeah.
Yeah. That's a rule that you almost never see, that you never see, so you hardly ever remember it, but that's exactly right. In fact, I forgot that until we just saw it, if I'm just being honest. If he'd kept on going back to the dugout, I never would have thought twice about it.
Yeah, it's a strange rule, and naturally we see that the young gentleman got hit here. But, if he's able to walk down and touch first base, let's go ahead and do it and get the courtesy runner in there and move on.
Swing and a miss.
I'm sure you've seen the video of the girl who tears her ACL on a home run swing.
Oh, yeah.
The college girl.
Mm-hmm.
And by rule, she's going to be out if she can't round the bases. And she can't get offensive assistance.
She can't get offensive assistance.
That's
exactly
the key.
Right. Yeah.
And the defensive team picked her up and carried her around the bases.
That is one of the greatest signs of sportsmanship I've ever seen.
I don't think you'll find a better one.
I saw the same example, although it wasn't actually executed. One of the great moments that I've ever called as far as the human side of things. It's calling cross country. Here's Caden Borcherding, by the way, with a runner on. Nobody out. We're in the bottom of the second. He's calling cross country state championships in the state of Georgia. Oh, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. The young lady always wanted to run the long distance. Both of her parents ran it in high school and college. She never qualified on the varsity level. Called strike 3. Borcherding caught looking. Here's William Simmons. So her senior year, she qualifies, finally. She's going to get to run it. Now, she's not a state champion. She's not going to win the state championship or anything. She just wanted to run the race.
Sure.
And she was well back in the pack as everyone was finishing up. But as this ball is laced down the left field line, got a chance to stay fair. And out of play by about a foot or so. She gets to, and I'm at the finish line under the tent calling the event, and she gets to about, I don't know, maybe 60, 70 yards, 50 yards perhaps, from finishing. And she collapses from exhaustion.
Oh.
She's starting to fatigue, and her entire body's starting to shake. So she's down on all fours. Runner back. She's down on all fours and starts crawling to the finish line. But when I tell you that it was one of the wildest scenes, that she's shaking, remember. So she's like a scared cat shaking as she's trying to crawl to the finish line. Well, her teammates apparently not allowed to help her, as one of them came up from behind to help her. Thankfully, one of the officials came over and said, no, don't do that. You'll be disqualified. The medical personnel tried to jump in and help her, and of course, that would have disqualified her as well. So then one of her opponents saw what was happening and attempted to help her across the line. They're going to throw down to second. Well, that ended up being a closer play than I thought, and in fact, he's out. Oh, I'm not sure about that call. This might be our first replay of the day here on the field. Let's take another look here, Rick. It's going to be really, really close. I thought he beat it.
This is going to be interesting here.
No, we didn't quite get the look at it fully on that particular replay. This might be the one.
Yeah, they're going to challenge.
Now, that was our steady cam out in center field, so we did not have it moving to catch the play. This is going to be tough, and they are challenging this play. You had a feeling that play was bang, bang. Punchline to the story, by the way, if you're wondering. She was able to finish the race. She got up and finished the race under her own power. One of the great all-time moments I've seen. So, Coach Simmons is going to challenge this call. The home plate umpire, or the crew chief, I beg your pardon. Crew chief is now coming off of the field, and he's going to walk around and come around.
Yeah, we're challenging. We're looking. Huh? No, we've got a
crew chief should handle it, right? So the crew chief is coming off the field, as I mentioned, walking around the stands here, up the concourse. He's going to come up here behind us underneath our broadcast tent. You can oftentimes see us from our center field camera there. And now you're catching some replays of it. We don't have the swipe tag. This is going to be a umpire's coming in. And he's going to check it out here. This is going to be tough. Maybe this will be the angle that will allow us to see. Unfortunately, our center field camera is fixed and was not placed, doesn't happen to be placed to where you could see the play on that side of the second base bag. So don't know that that's the angle. Now, here's a good look. Now, Patrick Glory is running our replay for the crew chief, and they're watching this angle just as you are. Yeah, see, his body beats the throw to the bag. And that's why I imagined that he was safe. And as you all heard during my call, I said that play ended up being closer than I thought it was. By the way, look at the amazing technology that our crew has to where they can freeze frame the play, the replay, zoom in on it, and pan from left to right inside of the picture. We'll see if this perhaps provides an angle. Patrick's going to pan down. There it is. You can tell he and I have been working together a long, long time. You're going to see the base runner come sliding in. Quincy Fulton, by the way, is that courtesy runner. I beg your pardon for not mentioning that earlier. Did not pencil that into my lineup here, as, of course, he came in to pinch run, courtesy run for Derek Vasquez, who was hit by the pitch. It's going to be close. Yeah, looks like they're going to lose the challenge. Looks like they're going to leave him out at the bag. And the call is upheld. Vasquez is out at second trying to advance. And so the bases are clean now with 2 men out. I'm not sure there was enough evidence, conclusive.
No, there wasn't. There wasn't. They looked at the replay and they decided to call it stands. You know, with the instant replay here, we've got 3 angles that we can look at. I'm sure you went over that, Chris, as you guys were watching it.
Indeed.
So it's got to be clear and indecisive proof.
It's William Simmons still at the plate. The right fielder. Kick and fire. A curveball that's served into left center field. There's the call and the catch in center, or left center to be precise, and that will be the frame. So an eventful inning. Each of the first 2 innings, SBA Marουcci National has had their leadoff man reach, but each time that runner has been stranded as the next chorus of men have gone down in order. We'll stay at 1-0. Bottom two. Started with a bang. Aaron Garcia with a solid single right up the middle. So Garcia aboard.
Let me talk a little bit about the instant replay challenge that we had the last inning. Each coach gets 2 challenges per game, whether they're successful or unsuccessful. Each team gets 2 that they can use at any point during the game to challenge a safe out call at a bag, home run. There's a list of things that all the coaches have in their dugout to let them know what they can and cannot challenge.
Jacob Gray now.
So Will Simmons, the coach at SBA, has used 1 of his 2 challenges. He still has 1 left. But I can't say, I mean, that's a good challenge. You know, if you take a look at it and get it overturned, and you know, it changes the game a little bit. So that was a good challenge.
Gray had a single, scored a run in the 8:30 ball game when these 2 teams met. His first at bat of this ball game, quite obviously, as we're in the bottom half of the 2nd inning. We'll watch Vasquez here on the mound for SBA. As you may remember, Derek was hit by a pitch the last half inning. Had to check out of the ball game via the courtesy runner. He's back out there, kicking and firing off the outside corner.
The runners are paying a little more attention after getting picked off the last inning. Being a little more alert over there.
Good off speed and hard combination.
That's his A move. He's got a good move to first base.
Yep. Sure does. 3-1. Swept outside. Now Lennox Minor, the left fielder, with 2 on and nobody out. Big moment early in this ball game. Couple of hits, a walk in the ball game so far for ZT National Prospects. Had a man reach on an E4 to start the ball game. That was Brown. He later came around to score on the RBI single, infield single, Luke Esquivel.
Chris, the game has changed so much in the last 10 years. 10 years ago, this is an automatic bunt situation. Move the runners along, put them in scoring position. But that's not today's game.
Even in youth ball.
Even in youth ball.
Yeah, they just don't teach the bunt like they used to. Right field, got a chance to drop and does for a base hit. Will they wave the runner or hold him? Bases loaded. Nobody out.
That was a smart move to hold him. Ball was hit sharply out to the right fielder, got to him pretty quickly. And nice throw to the cutoff man. And if he would have tried to score it, he was going to be out at home plate.
Zion Avina, the shortstop.
Interesting to see what SBA does here if they're going to play their middle infielders back in double plate depth.
Already even at third.
Looks like they're going to give up a run to turn 2 in the middle.
A lot of room in right center and a ton of room down the left field line. They do not believe that Avina will be able to pull Vasquez down the left field line. Conversely, out in right, Simmons not quite straight away. He's slung around towards the line just a tad. Now he's moving even closer. Swing and a miss. Quickly 0-2. Well, the best reason to continue to teach the bunt is in the sluggers era, if you've got a young man who just really handles the bat well. I love dropping one down right here.
Oh,
I really do.
It is so not expected in today's game. You'll catch him off guard 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah. Especially at this level of talent with these teams and the pitching they have. Even if you drop one down and it turns into a sacrifice where you may be trying to bunt for a base hit and you give up an out, but you score a run, you go up 2-0. With the pitching these type of clubs have. To right. Don't know that that's going to be deep enough. In fact, that's going to fall in for a base hit. One run is in. They'll look for the force at the second base bag, and they've got it. How about that?
Yeah, man, that's a
the old 9-6.
That's a tough break for ZT. Shallow fly ball to right field. You're not sure if it's going to get caught or not, and the runner between first and second is basically caught up in no man's land.
Garcia comes in to score. Gray makes his way down to third. Minor is erased off the pads, and Avina takes the pillow at first.
Unfortunately for the young man at first base, instead of a base hit, that turns into a fielder's choice. Turns into a rare 9-6 fielder's choice.
Not sure what this discussion is about.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'm not sure what they're looking for.
Crew chief just pull out the record book on his phone, or the rule book on his phone. No?
No.
But he is heading off the field. You might want to lift the headphones off, my friend.
What's that? Okay, that's a challengeable. Yeah, that's challengeable.
Yeah, this will be close. So they're going to challenge for obstruction at the first base bag. Is SBA. Not sure that we're going to have this on replay, as of course our cameras would have been following the action and following the ball. A 3-camera operation going here, but I'm not sure. Yeah, this home plate camera might have it. Patrick, you'll need to let it run past where you stopped it just a moment ago. That'll be our second challenge already. You can tell it's the national championship with the challenges, right, Amy? Amy Walker, our director, producer in charge of things. Patrick Glory is on hand, our Swiss Army knife, our jack of all trades, and he's running the replay as we speak. This might be the only real angle that we have at it here. Our first base line right field camera, which you saw just a moment ago, was following the action, following the baseball, as is his job. Our center field camera is fixed, as you saw there just a moment ago. This is going to be tough. Calls in. They're going to say there was no obstruction. And the play will stand. Runners will be at first and third. It'll stay 2-0. with one man out. I know that can be frustrating for some folks that we didn't have a clear and obvious viewpoint at it, but if you understand the rules of television and how this thing unfolds, and you understand the job of the cameramen and our production crew, you have to understand on a play like that, we just don't have the shot of it that is a super obvious view. Now, that behind the plate camera gave us our best look and really was the determining factor, and I don't think there was any obstruction. I think that was a good enough view.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, the umpires have two calls to make. The call stands, you know, and that's what they said on that one. This call stands.
Daniel Badar now.
I'm sorry, the two choices are calls confirmed and calls stands.
Yeah.
That call was confirmed. Call stands means they don't have enough evidence to overturn it. So now each team has used one instant replay challenge, and they're down. Each of them have one left. And that's regardless of the outcome. It's only two total that they get to use throughout the game.
Again, regardless of outcome, whether right or whether overturned or upheld.
Correct.
Yep. SBA still in the pinch. Fastball outside corner. An absolutely gorgeous pitch there by Vasquez. Badar waits. Vasquez deals. They missed his spot. Wonder if he got crossed up there.
Yeah, it didn't seem to be on the same page, or he just missed his spot.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That happens a lot at the 12-year-old division.
Oh, yeah. Vasquez, a right-hander who follows fully through on his delivery. Lets the ball go from over the top. Works on the right side of the rubber. I love it. My son pitches. It's a left-hander. And he comes not quite over the top, not quite three-quarters, somewhere in between. I got him on the left side of the rubber because of his follow-through, and I love it. I like the way Vasquez delivers. And that one he let go a little too early.
A little too early on the release.
Tried to muscle up.
Yeah. Now he's got himself in a bind here. He's down 3-1 in the count. Going to have to challenge him here with the fastball, which favors the hitters because the hitter knows that. So Badar needs to gear up and get ready for this one.
Righty set. Lefty waits at the plate. The deal. Back into the screen.
Well, he was geared up.
And with one out on 3-2, you saw Minor was on the move. Avina.
You can tell when a batter fouls a fastball straight back. That means he's right on it. Let's see if he comes back with the same pitch here.
It's Gray at third and Avina at first. Badar at the plate. Vasquez on the mound.
Putting in the runner in the motion with one out at this point tells me that Carlos has a lot of faith in Badar at the plate to make contact and put the ball in play.
Shaded into left center by the center fielder. Called strike three. At the letters, to be sure. Third strikeout of the ball game for Vasquez. Did you have a conversation with the umpires before the tournament about calling this high fastball?
No, we don't. We don't tell these guys how to do their jobs.
Well, now you know that was a joke. Right?
Yeah.
So, okay, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course not.
But some of these fans might not know that.
Nah, you're right. I shouldn't have said that. Of course, that was a joke. I meant that tongue-in-cheek. It's remarkable that all these guys through 3 games and now a second inning. They've all been so prone to calling the high strike. I love these strike zones. They're wide, they're tall.
It's a zone that the pitchers love, and the hitters better make the adjustments and come up there swinging.
Estrada, swing and a miss. Zach Estrada, the designated hitter in this ball game. We did not see Estrada in their first game of the day. Again, that was when the two teams met. Oh, they've got him in a rundown now. This might be by design, Rick. They'll chase after him, throw it away, and the run will score. Oh, Vasquez had him dead to rights. He kind of choked off the throw to the first baseman a little bit and didn't quite throw it right into the turf, but not so far from it.
Yeah, he did the right thing, right? He steps off, and instead of throwing the ball, he does exactly what he's supposed to. He runs right at the runner, and if he's got to run him back, you run him back to the base he came from. But unfortunately, the execution on the end wasn't very well. He got probably too close to the first baseman and handcuffed his own first baseman, allowing the run to score.
Off the corner.
Sometimes teams run that play by design to try to keep that guy in a rundown long enough for that run to score, especially if the hitter's got two strikes, because if he's out, it resets the count, and so they gain an advantage that way, even if he's out.
Estrada waits for a 1-2 and calls time. Estrada with his front foot closed. Smokes one to left. Well struck. Moving over, making a diving attempt. Did he catch it? Yes, sir! Oh, baby, what a play.
Nice catch by that young man. Estrada got it off the end of the bat, which we've seen quite a bit today with balls being hit off the end of the bat. Looks like it was going to get down, but the wind kind of held that up long enough for him to get underneath it and make a great catch.
Long enough for Motley to get over there and make the stab to keep us in a 3-0 game. Top half of the third inning. Elizabethtown, Kentucky. The Elizabethtown Sports Park celebrating its 10th anniversary here in 2022. And happy Father's Day of 2022, folks. Thanks for being with us on Facebook, the Travel Ball Select page on Facebook, back alongside the Executive Director, Rick Goff. Me, I'm Chris Mooneyham. Adrian Villela, Jacob Reynolds, Bryson Josie, 8, 9, and 10 in the lineup. Cut on and missed.
That ball had some movement on it. Tailed right away from him. Two-seamer, outer half of the plate. If he could control that the rest of this game, he's going to be dangerous.
Angel Gonzalez, whom you're speaking of, the left-handed hurler for ZT. The National Prospects based out of California. Trying to go undefeated this week. Swing and a miss. Jacob Reynolds. Hope for all of you out there whom it applies for that you're having a happy, healthy, and safe Father's Day weekend. And if you're watching this, no doubt you got a loved one participating in the national championships. Hope you get yourself a win. Me, I'm following All-Star Baseball. My son's playing in on my phone. They're playing down in Atlanta today. You miss those days.
I mean, I do as a dad-wise. I don't miss those games, though. I don't miss those games. I mean, it's one of those things. Chris's son is 6 years old.
Yeah.
And so he's playing coach pitch. And they're in the 5th inning, Chris? Is that what it is?
No, they walked that game off.
Oh, 5 innings, though, right?
Oh, yeah,
Fifth
they play
inning.
5 innings.
They
yeah,
walked
sorry.
it off,
Yep.
and what was the final score?
Okay, I see where you're going. 25-24.
25-24.
Yeah. Josie down to the first baseman. They need Gonzalez to cover. They'll get just that. And how about that? A 1-2-3 inning. A 1-2-3 inning. In fact, that's a second consecutive inning where Gonzalez has faced the minimum. Now he hit a batter to lead off the second inning, but that man was eventually out on the base pads. So the minimum over the last 2 innings, and we stay at 3-0. ZT National Prospects to the plate. And the bottom half of the third inning, looking to add to their 3-0 lead. Got a run in the first, 2 in the second. And they're back to the top of the order with Hudson Brown, Angel Gonzalez, Luke Esquivel. Hook, strike.
That's a good one.
Yeah, slider though? Had a little too much speed. Did it have a little too much speed to be the curve?
Could have been a little slider action there.
Well, just holler out there and ask him real quick. Wait till this pitch is over. Bounce one up there. Must have heard us talking.
That one caught. Horseshitting the catcher here. Umpire doing a good job, giving him a little time as he walks the ball out to the pitcher. A little etiquette both ways goes a long way.
Yeah. Well, we've seen a good bit of that.
Yeah.
From the teams.
Nice to see.
Again, baseball acumen.
Yep. It's not hard.
You just got to care to learn it and execute it. Outside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Leadoff batter in the third. Brown reached on an E4, scored a run in the first. Kick and fire. Ground ball at short. Oh, came squirting out of his glove as he was getting ready to make the transition.
Chris, what he did, I see so many young baseball players do, and usually that's the result of what happens. Guys, if you're watching this and if you see this replay, watch, he tries to flip the glove to his hand, the ball out of his glove to his hand, instead of reaching in with his bare hand and picking it out. Guys do this, and I just don't understand why they do it, but it's happened many, many times this weekend. I've seen them try to flip the ball into their hand and not do it properly.
Not a new thing,
no,
but something that we still probably see a little more now in this more modern era than we used to. Angel Gonzalez.
Well, if you're making $30 million a year, you know, you can flip it with your hat if you want to. But at this level, we need to do the proper mechanics. Reach in there with that hand, grab that ball out, make the play.
Gonzalez, a strikeout victim back in the first. Popped him up. Shallow left center in the triangle. Tough play, comes flying in and makes the play in center field.
He landed hard on that shoulder. Yeah,
Drew Wilson is down. Looks like he's going to shake it off.
Drew got a great read and a great jump on that ball. Come a long way to make that catch. But he did land straight on that shoulder.
And remember, these guys playing on artificial turf. It's not like they're playing on AstroTurf, so there is some give. These are some of the finest youth fields you will ever see, much less play on. But it's not as forgiving as grass. That's the reason I bring it up. So,
well, actually, in the outfield here is grass.
Oh, is that?
Only the infield is turf here at Elizabeth.
All right, I beg your pardon. I thought it was just 2 shades of turf.
No.
My mistake.
It's natural grass. And the players love it. They love that natural grass in the outfield.
Now Esquivel, who pops one up the chute.
He just missed this one.
Had an RBI single his first time up. Retired on the pop-up.
Chris, you were talking about AstroTurf and natural grass. And, you know, when I grew up playing ball, as I'm sure when you were playing ball, AstroTurf or turf or whatever terminology you want to use was rare. You know, it wasn't around then. Now it's just the opposite. You know, and when you were younger, you got excited to play on the turf. Well, now you're seeing kids getting excited to play on natural grass. It's just how the times have changed.
Yep. Strike. Fastball. Gorgeous pitch. Right at the belt. On the outside corner. Santos behind 0-1. It's a strikeout victim his first time. Big first baseman down swinging. And 2.
Had 0-2 here. You can't give him anything good to hit. Make him get himself out here. Something high, something in the dirt. You can't throw a strike here.
Twice.
At least twice.
Yeah. Runner going. Bounces up there. Throw down to second, not in time.
That one was stolen on the pitcher. He got a good jump. Might have picked up some tendencies on when he's going to go to the plate because he had a real good jump over there.
Hudson Brown with the stolen base.
Well, that's one that wasn't even close. That one was in the dirt. We'll see if it happens the second time. If he's smart, he will. Don't give him anything good to hit here.
Looks like they're going that way. Oh, outside corner, paint job. Break out the tiny brush and get the strikeout. Another man reaches in the inning. A leadoff man reaches in the inning via an E6, but he's stranded at the second base bag. stay at 3-0. This is the 2022 12U Travel Ball Select National Championships. It's the Travel Ball Select page on Facebook. Trent Motley to lead things off. Visitors' half of the fourth inning. A California-based program versus a North Carolina-based program.
Boy, SBA is looking for something to get behind, to get that momentum going, to get that dugout excited. You know, I look over in their dugout right now, and they're just all leaning up against the fence, just waiting for something to happen. You got to make something happen in games like this.
Crowd a little quiet as well.
Yeah.
Parents just kind of watching a little bit. Got a leadoff double to start the ball game. Motley was stranded out there on the pads as the next three men went down in succession. Cue shot, left field, base hit. I did it again.
Yeah, Motley's one of the premier 12-year-old players in the entire country. That kid, he can do it all. He can run, he can hit, he can throw. He's just a talented young man. And he muscled that one out into left field. Didn't get all of it, but he don't need to. You know, it's a base hit in the books.
After the next three men went down following the leadoff double, Derek Vasquez was hit by a pitch to start the second inning. And until that hit by Motley, it was 5 in a row sat down. So now here's Drew Wilson. Well, how many times do we say it? How many times do we see it? A player makes a great defensive play in the previous half inning and then gets to come to the plate in the next half inning.
And comes up with a big hit.
That's exactly right.
Well, I'm 2 for 2 in my foreshadowing. Let's see if you can get one here.
Gets away. Oh, I don't think Motley had a look at that one. Must not have had a clean look.
Yeah, that's that short backstop for you. Them balls will kick back off that safety padding there. So sometimes these runners get a little gun shy.
Ground ball at second. Do they have the time? There's one, 4, 6. Not this time. The 4-6 force will erase Motley off the base pads. Wilson will take his place at first. One man gone, and here's Ivan Andino. Andino, a strikeout victim in his previous plate appearance. Became the second out of the first inning. Into the bat. That'll be enough. Into right, making the wide turn, headed for third. Look at this rifle shot. In safely. On the throw. And Dino going to take the second base bag. That's going to be a single, sending Wilson over to third, and Dino will take second on the throw. And Julian Martinez is now coming to the plate with a chance to draw his club back to within a run.
You know, even though the play ended up being closer than I expected. I'm surprised that they went for the throw and the out at third base, being up 3 runs. Normally you see teams split the runners and keep the double play in order. But the right fielder came up. He thought he had a shot at him and knocking him down at third base and made a better throw, made it closer than I thought it was going to be. But now what happens is the runner takes second base on the throw, takes the force off from everybody. Now you got second and third, 1 out. The potential could be a big inning coming up here for SBA.
On this Father's Day, I would like to share a piece of my misery. I've now missed both of my sons inside the park home runs.
How many does he
in
have
his
on the
short
year?
career?
How many does he have on the year?
No, that's his first one in All-Stars. He has, or 3. I guess he has 3 total, and I've missed them all.
You've missed them all.
Yeah. Julian Martinez to the plate. Strikeout victim. That ended the first inning.
Well, you are just a horrible father.
He got a game-winning hit off of me once, though. I was able to serve him up a walk-off pitch. Martinez, the biggest at-bat of his week. Julian, as I mentioned, strikeout victim. If he could deliver a hit here, it would completely change the tenor of this ball game.
Yeah, and it will wake up the bench there for SBA.
Right.
This is a big spot here in the game.
They've sort of been lulled to sleep.
Yeah, the games just kind of went by, just a little, inning by inning. Now you look up, and we're getting late into the ball game. And but SBA's just hung around. They've hung around, and we see that happen all the time. If you let a team hang around.
Did not go. Here comes the 2-0. Tails inside, and all of a sudden, Gonzalez can't find the plate. He's given up more hits in this inning than he had in the entirety of the ball game leading into the 4th.
Things on the SBA side are starting to perk up here a little bit.
Fastball stays high. He walked him. The bases are loaded. Derek Vasquez now.
We saw this in the 11-year-old game with the East Cobb Astros and Wildcatters. The Wildcatters pitcher was in control the whole game, 4 or 5 innings. All of a sudden, the 1 run comes across. Next thing you know, you look up, you're in a tie ball game in the 6th inning, and you're trying to figure out what happened.
Yep.
And it has that same feeling in this game right here.
Now, some of the statistics between that ball game and this are very similar. That one gets away. He's coming to the plate late. The flip is a beautiful one, and he's out.
What a big play. What a big play. Man, I tell you, that's that small backstop, and you have to be 100% sure with no one out. What a great job by the catcher to get back there, and he picks up the ball with his hand. This is the key right here. He picks it up with his hand, not his glove, gets a small flip to the pitcher covering. Outstanding, outstanding play.
Ground ball headed up the middle and into center field for a base hit. Now how big is that out? Second runner to the plate. He will score. High throw allows the runner to get to second. Now he's headed for third. Stick it in your back pocket. Tying run 70 feet away.
How big does that play loom now? That's a tie ball game right now. Good piece of hitting. He takes the ball right back up the middle, drives into, makes the turn, gets all the way to third base on the bad throw, on the errant throw home. We've got a new ball game here, 3-2.
Caden Borcherding to the plate. Strikeout victim, caught looking. Back in the 2nd. Now base hit away from potentially tying up the ball game. to right, curling, out of play.
I can tell you right now, with 2 outs, Chris, this young man's got one thing on his mind and one thing only. That's to hit the ball as far as he possibly can. I can guarantee you he's not thinking about a single up the middle here.
That one took off on Gonzalez. Swing and a miss. Hudson Brown is now in center field on a defensive change. Luke Esquivel is in right.
He's got to set here and expand his zone. Now he's got 2 strikes. Got to shorten up. I know he wants to try to drive the ball out of the park, but right now a base hit will help his team.
Borcherding, of course, not down on strikes. I beg your pardon. That was 2 strikes. Back into the screen. Scoreboard got me. They've got him. Yes, they do. Boy, oh boy, what an inning that ended up being for SBA Marrucci Nationals as they get 2 runs in the inning to claw back to 3-2, but a couple of base running gaffes.
Man, what
they cost them a little more.
Heads up play by the catcher, knowing that secondary lead on that backhand ball on the outside, he doesn't even hesitate. Comes up firing, trusts his teammate at third to be there, and he was there. Cut down the runner at third.
3-2 game. Aaron Garcia, Jacob Gray, Lennox Minor. Home half of the 4th. Garcia 1 for 1, singled, and scored a run a couple innings ago. Right center field. That one's down, and one hopping the wall. Wait a minute, that ball bounced over. That's going to be a ground rule double.
No, that's out of here.
Did it go out?
It went out.
I beg your pardon. That ball snuck out. Holy smokes.
Wasn't that high off the ground. Didn't get it up in the air, but, man, he put a shot on it into right center field.
So Garcia now 2 for 2. 2 runs scored, an RBI, the home run and the single.
Have a day.
4-0. I'm sorry, 4-2. 4-2, of course. ZT National Prospects. The Californians out in front. Here's Jacob Gray. Gray walked. Back in the second. Look out! Way out of here! One low-lining screamer that gets over the right center field wall, and one Titanic clout out in left. Make it 5-2.
And just like that, ZT gets back the 2 runs that they gave up in the top half of the inning to seize the momentum back here. 5-2 in the bottom of the 4th.
Lennox Minor is scheduled to be the batter here, but we've got ourselves a meeting between the home plate umpire and the head man for SBA, Coach Simmons. So if we've got some sort of a potential challenge coming here.
I'm not sure what he's asking for, or maybe something. Maybe he's thinking he missed a plate on his home run.
I'm still shocked that that ball that was hit out in the right center field got out of here. He caught that ball towards the end of the plate, the end of the bat. I didn't think that had any chance of getting out, I have to be honest. Minor singled, back in the second. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, if you're going to hit a ball to the right or right center field, you got to keep it low, keep it out of that jet stream.
Yep.
Because that wind will knock it down. And that's exactly what he did. He kept
You're
the
right.
ball low, and it got out of here.
You're so right. I've been talking about it all day. Wind blowing in briskly from right, down the line. Can you imagine bringing out an old-timer who hasn't seen a 12-year-old travel baseball game in their lives, and they see a ball like what Jacob Gray just hit? Deep center field! Or like what that young man just hit, Lennox Minor. They'd be in disbelief. These balls traveling 275 and 310 easily. 3 consecutive solo home runs from ZT National Prospects. Garcia, Gray, and Minor.
Well, I tell you, ZT's in a groove right now. And you just keep passing the bat down.
Zion Avina now. He's the man who hit that ball out into right, you may recall, a couple innings ago, where the ball kind of hung up there and looked as though it might be caught, and so it hopped right in front of the right fielder, who scooped it up and threw down to second for the force play. ZT National Prospects with a 4-run lead now. And you start counting outs. They're 6 outs away from an undefeated all-time historic run in the national championships.
I tell you what, ZT cannot make the mistake by thinking this game's over. SBA is way too talented, and they can jump up on you real quick and score runs in bunches and quick.
Yeah, if you're a parent, you might start counting outs. But you certainly will not if you're a player or a coach. Now, you mentioned it. These two teams know each other. Fair ball. Avina makes the turn. He'll be at second with ease. "14 total bases for the first 4 batters of the 4th.
Yeah, right now ZT hitting's contagious. Hitting's contagious at all levels, and they're in a groove right now.
Daniel Alpadar.
SBA is just trying to figure out how to stop the momentum. One out at a time. You got to get that first out.
Got to get that first one. You read my mind. That's what I was just about to say. Still nobody out in the inning. Meanwhile, ZT National Prospects has outscored their opponents on the season, this week, I beg your pardon, 73-2. 73-2. We missed the big scoop, by the way. The shutout's gone for the week.
Oh, that's right.
Failed to mention that, didn't we?
We looked right past that, didn't we?
Yes, indeed. We're going to have ourselves another defensive change. Quincy going to get out here. They're going to move Simmons over. Oh, no, they're going to take Simmons out.
Yeah, they're making a change here. I think Simmons is going to go to the bullpen.
Yeah. Quincy Fulton, man who came out. That one going to kick off the glove of the catcher Borcherding.
Now we've got a situation again, runner at third, less than 2 outs. Bedard's at the plate. Again, he's not thinking ground ball right now. He's thinking about trying to hit one out of over these trees here. You know, in a big tournament like this, Chris, we talked about hitting being contagious. And, you know, it's just one of those situations where a team gets hot, and no matter what they do, it seems to be right. When they swing the bat and make the contact, it finds the holes.
Yep.
It bleeds through, you know, the bloop singles and all that stuff. It just clicks all in 1 week, and it makes up for a magical week. And it seems like that's the run and the magic ride that ZT's on right now.
Bedard caught looking on strikes in the second. This is the same lineup that came up in that second inning and came away with 2 runs scored. They got 4 runs scored in this frame.
Well, I guess I was wrong. He was looking to hit the ball back up the middle to drive in the run.
That was a tremendous, tremendous swing. Little inside-out job there.
Yeah.
Pulled his hands in.
Drove it right back up the middle.
Zach Estrada now. I'll tell you what, better be careful here if you're Vasquez. With Estrada to the plate, you're going to start getting into the
conversation that we don't want to get into.
Yeah, run rule conversation.
It looks like Simmons is down in the bullpen. He's warming up pretty quick. This might be the last hitter for Vasquez here.
Right now it's just a 5-run game. This game a long way from over. SBA still got 2 hacks at the plate in the 5th and the 6th. But you give up a long one here to this guy who's very capable. Now you're talking about a 7-run game.
5's manageable, especially for a team like SBA. It's manageable, but we can't let it get any further here.
Can't find the strike zone all of a sudden.
Yeah, he's
might be starting to labor.
Starting to labor a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm be willing to bet this is his last hitter.
Left field line, but foul.
got a good piece of it, rolled the top hand over right at the end and pulled it foul. But, I mean, we're just playing with fire right here, right now.
Run rules 10 after 5. 4, I'm sorry, 10 after 4.
8 after 5.
8 after 5. That's why we talk about the importance of this at-bat. Still, no one out in the frame. The 3-2. Fastball that stays high. And that looks like it'll be the end of the day for Derek Vasquez. This inning, if you're just tuning in, 3 consecutive solo home runs to start the frame. Garcia, Gray, and Minor. Zion Avina with a double. Badar a single to drive him in. He's now down at the second base bag as Zach Estrada has walked. So home run, home run, home run, double, single, walk. Numbers 5 through 10 in the lineup have all reached. We're back to the top of the lineup, and Hudson Brown will face most likely a new hurler. Well, looks like we might have ourselves another challenge coming up here.
It's evidently it's a conversation. I'm guessing Will has the lineup, and I'm guessing that there's an issue with the lineup.
All right, we're back live here in this fourth inning. Hudson Brown will be at the plate coming up in just a moment. We had the pictures, Rick. Tell us about what was happening.
Well, in the 12 and under division, 12 all the way down to 10, we don't allow a DH. Some coaches have used it. When the error is discovered, it's a correctable error. We just remove the DH and we just continue to play on. Evidently in their game earlier in the week, I don't know what day exactly it was, but it appears that when they did it, somebody called the batter out. They said, I'm the one that made the ruling, but I've had this situation come up 3 times this week with the DH being used. It's a correctable error. All you have to do is remove it. And I would have never declared a batter out with that rule, but evidently at one field that they did declare him out. So I'm not exactly sure what happened. It's
unfortunate.
It's an unfortunate incident that took place to where, that's not consistently being called throughout the park, and I want to make sure that happens. But, I don't – again, I've had this call 3 times this week. We've corrected it all 3 times to where the DH just comes out of the game, which is what we did here. And
so Zach Estrada will be –
Zach Estrada will be the official player because he's the one taking the at-bats.
Yeah.
So they have to replace their catcher. Is it listed in your scorebook as a DH?
Yeah. I didn't catch it either.
Yeah.
Yep. So William Simmons is the new man on the mound, the left-hander. He started his appearance by hitting Hudson Brown, and the bases are loaded. This is a dangerous, dangerous moment if you're an SBA supporter, as ZT prospects now could conceivably, in this fourth inning, now the conversation can turn to run rule. They'd be 5 runs away, I beg your pardon, from ending this ball game. Center field base hit. They'll go station to station on this particular hit. They're still loaded, still no one out. 8-2 on the RBI hit by Angel Gonzalez. Bedard scores the run. We've had 3 home runs, 2 singles, a double, a walk, and an HBP in the inning. How about that? A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Yep. Now it's Esquivel. Little lefty-on-lefty action here. Simmons deals. Cut and miss. 24 waves through one off the outside corner. Yeah, as a matter of fact, if Esquivel could hit one out here, that'd make it 12-2. That'd be the ball game.
It would be.
Swing and a miss. Wonder if he knows that. Just offered at 2 pitches that you wonder if normally he would offer at. Estrada at third, Brown at second, Gonzalez at first. Good speed on the pads. Kick and fire. Low. Maybe off the corner of shade as well. 1-2 count. Luke, an RBI hit in the first. An F7 in the third. A grand slam away from a national title. That would make it a 10-run lead. And ZT would run rule SBA. Center field. Well struck. Way back and off the wall. 1 run is scored. A second runner scores. The throw into the infield is cut off. It's an 8-run game, and now it will just take a hit. A 2 RBI base hit. It looks like Simmons will be lifted. We'll have ourselves another change. And ZT National Prospects on the doorstep now.
1 hit away. Runners at second and third, nobody out.
Oh, this is just absolutely incredible. You talk about potentially finishing off an all-time weekly performance. They may do this with 10 consecutive men reaching in the inning. looks like for the second time today, we're going to see Knox Goodyear. Yeah, Knox Goodyear, 27 on his back in pinstripes. What an inning. I mean, what an inning. Three consecutive solo home runs, a double, a single, a walk, an HBP, a single, and a double in that order. Want to remind you, this will not be our final game here on Field 5, Facebook page, Travel Ball Select National Championship page on Facebook. We will have either the final game of the 12U season, 12U championships, if SBA Marucci National can put together an incredible comeback and force a winner-take-all with ZT National Prospects. That game would go off about 5 p.m., well, probably not 5 p.m. now because we're already just past 4:30 Eastern Time. Or we'll see the Challenge Cup Silver Bracket Championship in the 11U classification. Those two young men, the two teams over here all ready to go. Of course, they're waiting to figure out where they will play. We're potentially one base hit away from knowing the answer. (77-2). ZT National Prospects from California have outscored their opponents so far this week. 77-2. Incredible. JL Santos, the first baseman, 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. He can be the man who can end it. First offering. Swing and a miss. Santos a little earlier today. First time these two clubs met. Scored twice, had a 3-run home run. Check the runner, he's back. It's Gonzalez at third and Esquivel at the second base bag. Luke with tremendous speed and 140 feet away from a national crown. Want to remind you, whenever the national champion is crowned in the 12U classification, Rick and I will step aside off the mic, but we will keep the video feed up and live for you so that you can watch both the runners-up and the championship presentation. Got a little bit of chirping going on now between the parents, which is always a sticky topic. You love that the parents all care so much, but there's that thin line that you have to walk, and you have to be oh so careful. Knox Goodyear versus JL Santos. What an incredible inning for ZT National Prospects. Strike, looking to end the national championships with 10 consecutive men reaching the base pads and score 9 runs in the inning to put away the national crown. Goodyear set and deals off the corner. Santos waits. Goodyear set. Righty deals. Swing and a miss. Three strikeouts for Santos in the ball game. How about that? Just shows you how great ZT prospects are, ZT National prospects are. 3 strikeouts from their cleanup man, Santos. Yet, 10 runs on the board. Second at-bat of the inning for Aaron Garcia. He started this 7-run uprising with a solo home run. Can he finish it as well? Fastball. Sweeps outside. Goodyear lost his balance, went tumbling. 2-0. The count. Garcia, the center fielder, 2 for 2. Single to lead off the second, homered to lead off this inning. Scored twice, driven in 1. High fly, center field, way back there. National champions! ZT National Prospects. Win the national crown. They've just realized it. What an inning. Aaron Garcia hits 2 home runs in the inning, and he answered my question. He does begin the inning with a home run. I had no idea he would end the inning with a home run. He'll drive in 4 in the inning with his 2 home runs. 13-2 will be the final score. What an amazing inning that ended up being. A 10 spot in the 4th where 12 men came to the plate. Only 1 man was retired in the inning. Just going through some of the numbers here in that inning. Again, let's see, 11 men come to the plate. 4 home runs, 2 doubles, 2 singles, a walk, and an HBP. Let me give you those numbers one more time. 4 home runs, 2 doubles, 2 singles, a walk, an HBP, and 10 runs in the frame. And ZT National Prospects win the ball game 13-2, and they end up outscoring their opponents this week 80-2. 80-2. And they go perfect on the week at 8-0. Quite simply, folks, I try not to be too hyperbolic, although as broadcasters, of course, we are prone to it, aren't we? But this was an all-time weekly run in the Travel Ball Select National Championships. You will very, very seldom ever see a team from the 11U through about the 13U classification dominate the way this team did, especially in 12U, which is just so incredibly talented. And as Rick Goff mentioned, it's one of the most talented fields that has ever taken place in the Travel Ball National Championships. I gave you the number. 12 of the top 25 ranked teams in America were here this week. 12 of 25, plus 3 honorable mention clubs. And all 3, by the way, happen to be a few of the most well-known programs in America to do what ZT Prospects National did. National Prospects did from California this week is absolutely astounding. As they go perfect 8-0, hang 80 on their opponents, and only give up 2 runs this week. And they are the 2022 Travel Ball Select 12U National Champions. Again, want to remind you, I'll lay out here with the audio feed, but we will have the visual feed of the National Championship medal presentations and for the runners-up as well. Make sure you stay tuned. Coming up next, we'll have the Challenge Bracket, Silver Cup Bracket Championship inside of the 11U classification. And that'll be our final game of the day on the Travel Ball Select page on Facebook. Again, for Amy Walker and Patrick Glory, Rick Goff, our entire crew here on Field 5 at the Elizabethtown Sports Park. I'm Chris Mooneyham saying thanks for joining us, everyone. Once again, ZT National Prospects, the Californians, your 2022 12U Travel Ball Select National Champions. Good evening.